Few things are as important to a home cook as learning how to slice, dice, and chop in the kitchen. Today, I'm going to break down all of the basics, the essentials when it comes to knife skills, everything you need to know before you even cut an ingredient. Let's do this. You really only need 3 knives: a chef's knife, a serrated knife, and a paring knife. And really, you could just get by with a chef's knife. What's most important is getting a knife that feels great in your hand. What might feel better to me might feel different to you. So make sure you pick it up and use it before investing in it. Next, you're going to want a serrated knife. Now, I use my serrated knife most for things like cutting through bread and tomatoes. And finally, a paring knife, which is great for really small tasks like hoeing strawberries. This is really useful in the kitchen, and I tend to use it a couple times every week. Before you start using your knives, I've got 2 tips to make sure you're doing so safely. First, you'll want to make sure that your cutting board is stable, and this can be done one of 2 ways. First, you can invest in a cutting board that has these rubber feet so that it won't move around. That's my favorite thing to do and my favorite cutting boards. Or if you have a regular cutting board without the rubberized feet, just go ahead and wet a paper towel, put it underneath your cutting board, and you'll notice that it becomes really secure. Beyond having a stable cutting surface, you'll want to make sure that your knife is super sharp. Now, if you've just purchased your knife, it's going to be sharp for a while, maybe a year or 2. But if you've had your knives for a while and you're noticing that they are starting to feel dull, it's really important to sharpen them. Now, my best advice for sharpening is to take it to the pros. Whether that's a store like Sur La Table or Williams-Sonoma, who tends to offer the service for free most times, or an actual service that sharpens knives in your community, that's the best way to do it so that it's going to provide the most longevity for your knife. You could also purchase something to sharpen your knives at home on your own, but I always like to take mine in. And remember, a sharp knife is a lot safer than a dull knife. Let's talk about how to hold a knife. You don't want to be too far back on the handle of your knife. You literally want to be touching the blade, but not with your index finger on the spine. I think a lot of people feel that they'll have control this way, but honestly, you don't have that much control. What you want to do is make sure that your index finger is on one side, slightly curled back, and your thumb is stabilizing it on the other side. This is what's going to give you the most control when using a knife. As far as the motion goes, you want to think of a rocking motion as you cut through your vegetables and other ingredients. When you hold the ingredients that you're cutting, you'll want to create a claw with your hand. By creating a claw, you'll keep your fingers safe. You'll tuck your fingertips back and focus on your knuckles, almost being as if they were a guide for your blade as you cut through your vegetables. The whole purpose of all of this technique is to make sure you have uniform pieces when you begin cooking. That's going to contribute to even cooking and a better result when you're done. And that's it. It's pretty simple. Practice makes perfect, and these techniques will have you cooking like a pro in no time.